all that is gold does not glitter, and not all those that wander are lost. I was the third generation of family that grew up in the same little town in North Texas called Archer City. Some of y'all may have actually spent a couple hours in my hometown if you ever saw the movie The Last Picture Show. That movie was based on growing up in that little town, and that was in 1958. I graduated in 1980, and it was exactly the same when I was there as it was in 1958. There were some constants. No one moved in, no one left, and no attitudes ever changed. I always felt a little different there because I had a little bit different family. See, I was from a divorced family, and my mom lived with a man that had another family. And he would live nights at my house and days at his other family. And it was unusual. And needless to say, I didn't have a lot of relationships when I was growing up. And so I graduated from high school. I was 29th out of 33 kids, so education was not real strong in my family. But I was convinced to go to college. And so I went to college about 25 miles from where I lived. And we didn't have any money, so I had to work my way through college. And I was always restless. And so I changed jobs a lot. I worked as a repair man. I pulled cars out of garages in the middle of the night. I've taken little kids off their beds and repossessed their beds. Not one of my best moments, but it was a job. But one of the most interesting jobs I had towards the end of my college career was I worked in a funeral home. And this was before the internet. And so I spent Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights from 6 in the evening until 6 in the morning answering death calls. I called the mortician, they'd go pick up the body, and then I would help them prep the body for embalmment. And I never knew what an effect this was going to have on me, but what it taught me was when you're dead, you're dead. You're not coming back. But what it also started me thinking about was where I lived and kind of what I was expected to do in life. And I just could not accept that. Everyone and everything I knew was within 50 miles of where I stood. And I had to get out. I just couldn't be there anymore. So I had one person that didn't live in Texas, and he lived in California, and that was my uncle. So I graduated from college, I loaded up my Honda Prelude, and I headed west. No plan, no job, nothing. I just knew I could not stay there anymore. Well, I cried about half the way, because everything I knew was in my rearview mirror. Even though I didn't like it, I knew it. And sometimes misery's okay if you know it. But I had to try something different. So I made it to California, opened up the Sacramento Bee, and saw there was a dishwashing job in Sequoia National Park. Well, I don't know if you've ever been to Texas, but our trees are about this tall and they all have thorns on them. Well, I found myself dishwashing in Sequoia National Park, living among the giants. And it was a spiritual experience for me. Well, needless to say, I wasn't featured in my alumni magazine with a college degree and a dishwashing job, but what I also started discovering was people that thought like I did. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I'm okay. And I started feeling that. Well, that summer ended. Well, I didn't know what one. I always wanted to be a hippie. Well, I didn't know what hippies did. And they said, well, man, we go to the mountains and we ski during the winter. So I loaded up my car and we headed to Lake Tahoe. Well, through a series of poor decisions involving drugs, alcohol, and gambling, I found myself homeless at the Salvation Army at 24 years old on Thanksgiving Day. Well, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I couldn't go back. And I had 2 coats. And there was a guy there that had no coats. And I gave him a coat that night. And things started changing. A guy let me live on his couch. I got a job as a lifty at the ski resort. And then they posted a job for a ski host. And I thought, a ski host? Well, that sounds right up my alley. But there was one problem. I'd never skied before. And so I go and interview with this lady who's from Australia, and she goes, well, you really don't fit the criteria, but I really like your accent. So I said, give me 2 weeks and I'll be able to ski. And so I hook up with the ski instructor. He shows me the basics. And I become a ski host. And I did that for 3 years. And this job entails skiing around the mountain, helping people up, going, how's your day going? And I thought it was paradise. And I also got a job working in one of the casinos in the showroom. And this was back when they would serve dinners. And I got to see people like Sammy Davis Jr., and Jay Leno, and Tom Jones. And Tom Jones was really interesting because women actually threw their panties on the stage for Tom Jones. Now, at this point in his career, some of them looked more like tents, but it was a truly amazing experience to see these shows that you'd only ever dreamed about. Well, I did that for about 3 years, and a buddy of mine from Texas came out, and he had the Wanderlust as well. And he said, you know what, I heard that they make a lot of money in Alaska working on fishing boats. So we made our way to Seattle, got a job on a fishing boat, and the next thing I know, I'm in the Aleutian Islands. A little boy from Texas in the Aleutian Islands, and I'm like, what in the hell have you got yourself into here? We ended up out on a boat in the Bering Sea, and I was there for a little over 3 months. And I always saw that as my prison sentence for all the bad things I'd ever done in my life, because I was truly not cut out for that. But I toughed it out, and by this time I had that burning in me. I knew I wanted to be a wanderer. So I got off the boat, bought some backpacking equipment, and set out to hitchhike around Alaska. Well, I hitchhiked for a while and went a lot of different places. And I've got to tell you this one story that happened there that told me I was in the right place with the right people. Remember Sequoia National Park? I had a roommate. His name was Matt. One day I'm hitchhiking between Anchorage and Denali National Park in a rain that I thought, if this ever ends, I'll never do another bad thing in my life. Well, this guy stops on the side of the road and points for me to get in the back of the pickup. And I crawl in, he's got a camper. We drive for about 3 hours. Well, I crawl out of the camper, he steps out of the driver's side, and it's Matt from Sequoia National Park. And this had been about 3 years. And it just solidified that I was on the right path to find what I was looking for. About a month after that, I was at the Talkeetna Bluegrass Festival, and I'm camped up on a ridge over the river, and the sun setting behind Mount McKinley. Well, it was on the horizon. It never really set. It was the most amazing colors I'd ever seen in my life. And I'm sitting there, and something came to me and said, David, it's okay. You're okay who you are. And it was an amazing experience, and it just propelled me on. And the wandering went on for a little bit longer. I made it down to Homer, Alaska, where I lived in a little commune in a yurt. And I spent my 27th birthday with a guy named Tom Bodette. Remember, we'll leave the light on for you? Tom Bodette told me 2 things that night. I can't drink Guinness Stout, and you sure can't ride a bicycle after drinking Guinness Stout. But it was just part of that amazing experience, and for the first time in my life, I was comfortable. I was okay. Well, I hadn't seen my mom and really talked to her in about 5 years, so I had a job on the ski patrol back in Tahoe. So I went down there and got my stuff, and I drove back to Texas. And this really begins the third part of my life. I've always had to work, and so I got a job waiting tables. And one night, the most cutest little hippie chick strolls in. I I've been all over the place looking for one, and she's in Graham, Texas. And she sat at my table, and I waited on her, and I'll never forget the first thing she said to me was, "Are the frog legs fresh?" And what did I say?
I just walked in.
There you go. And so she didn't know me from Adam. But this was before Tinder and Match and all that stuff, so I took a pen and a piece of paper and I wrote her a letter. And I'll never forget standing at that mailbox going, this letter's going to change her life. Put it in the mail, she gets it. I'm sure she thought, oh my God, there's a psycho after me or something. But she had been wandering like me, and she thought, what the heck, we can go to lunch. Well, we went to lunch. 3 weeks later, I proposed to her.
Wow.
27 years later, she's here. I've been blessed with beautiful twin daughters. I had a successful career. I learned how to fly airplanes. You know, I don't know where this journey's going to end, but I know one thing that Robert Frost wrote in The Road Not Taken. He said two roads diverged in the woods, and I took the one less traveled by. That made all the difference.